Cape of Storms sets the scene for the second day of action from the World Rugby Under-20 Championship of 2023. This is the Dani Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch, about 40 minutes drive away from the other venue hosting matches today, Paul Gymnasium, where the games are already underway. Some serious matches to keep your eye on there, including France against New Zealand. We've got 3 matches coming your way from the Eikestad, as it's called. And the first of those is between Wales and Japan. Here are the pools. France with that comprehensive victory in their first match over Japan, who will be featuring in a few moments, top the pops. They are, of course, the defending champions from 2019, the last time this tournament was played. Wales have it all to do after that narrow loss to New Zealand. Looking at Pool B now, England always a force in the under-20 competition. They've been to the most finals of all time, and after a draw, they'll be needing to get back on the horse immediately because Fiji and Australia are highly dangerous. And the final pool, Pool C, featuring the host South Africa. After the first victory over Georgia, Georgian side who beat England in the build-up to this tournament, they'll be full of confidence heading into their final 2 matches against Italy and Argentina. So with the 3 groups, there will be, of course, a competition to find that 4th #1 side to make it into the semi-finals, as it were, for the sides contesting for the cup and for the rest of the demarcations as we go down. But that'll all be sorted out in time. But for now, we have Wales taking on Japan up next at the Dani Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch. Morne Ferreira is the man in the middle. He will be with the whistle today, and the coin toss being performed by the 2 captains of the side. Looks like Yoshiki Omachi winning that coin toss. Real uphill battle here for Japan after that result against France, whereas Wales will be desperate to get back on the horse.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And here is the Welsh starting lineup, losing to New Zealand by 27 points to 26. They'll be looking to turn it around. 8 changes from that loss to New Zealand, backing themselves against the Japanese, making sure they get the rotation of the squad before their final match against, guess who, the defending champions of France. 74 meters in carries from Morgan Morse against New Zealand in 17 carries, while Ryan Woodman made 10 tackles. And here is the Japanese side, coached by Rob Penny, who coached the junior All Blacks, or New Zealand under-20 side rather, to the 2012 final against South Africa. The last time the competition was in this nation. Tough time against France for Japan. Their captain Omachi had 13 carries for 55 meters. 2 try scorers, Koshamuto in the 15 and the number 16, Takashi Omoto. So this famous stadium prepares to host the first of 3 matches on day 2 of the World Rugby Under-20 Championship. And the teams are ready to come onto the field. And here come the 2 sides. Japan playing in their change kit of blue. Wales will be represented in the proud red. Alongside me in commentary today, a former Springbok, he is Tobani Bobo. Tobani, you were here for day 1. Wales narrowly losing it out against New Zealand. You've told me they were very impressive. Do you think they can make it to the cup competition at the end of this pool?
Well, they've been quite good. On the first game, we saw how much they controlled possession and they controlled territorially. They'll rue the fact that they missed lots of tackles and giving away 16 penalties, something that they have to work on in terms of their discipline. Japan on the other side, they come in here after a big loss against France, but for them, a chance to showcase what they can do in the championship.
The young diamonds of two nations prepared to take to the field in a crunch fixture for both. Wales hoping to overcome that defeat against New Zealand with victory here and victory against France. They can still sneak into top contention in this World Rugby Under-20 Championship. As for Japan, promoted from the trophy competition, which is the B tier of this competition last year, which was played in Brazil, or rather in 2019, pardon me, with that break for COVID-19. They'll be hoping to remain in this competition, which they've done many times before, and it may well come to a playoff at the end of it all. Their next match is against New Zealand, coming up at Paul Gym on the 4th of July. So Japan, no doubt, will be targeting this match in between France and New Zealand, perennial champions of this competition, to pick up a victory. And in these rainy conditions, let's see which side can handle them better. The rolling maul of both sides in evidence in the opening day's action. Let's see if they can get it going here in Stellenbosch.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to have a 10-second countdown on the screen as well.
The countdown underway. 3 matches coming from Stellenbosch today in the World Rugby Under-20 Championship. This is Pool A. Wales go deep to kick things off via Daniel Edwards. Takahashi in the number 9 jersey for Japan, playing in blue.
Use it.
Takahashi fires it back underneath this ball. Winnett, Cameron Winnett, running it back at the Japanese defensive line. Hughes, away to Morse, big hit on Morse. Premier ball carrier for Wales in their opening match against New Zealand with 17 carries. Winnett's involved again.
Use it.
Hughes sets it free for Johnny Green. Right now the Japanese defensive line aggressive, knocking Wales back towards the halfway line.
Use it.
Hughes
Back.
setting up the kick, and now the chasers will have to make it good. Getting underneath that for Japan, it appeared to be Mogami. Could not get his hands on the ball, and Wales capitalized, taking it in via Evan Hill.
Number 8.
Quite clearly not rolling away by Tyson Mogami. Penalty Wales.
Yeah, Wales have set up their structures and how they're going to play. They're going to be favouring the short side as they keep on reloading and putting the pressure. Winning at the scraps though with Evan Hill. And the plan rolling away, Tyson Mogami. That made it slow for the ball, penalised by Mone Ferreira. Good start for Wales into the 22.
Lewis Lloyd feeds the line out, one of the try scorers against New Zealand with the number 2 on his back for Wales. They're making progress, but Japan effectively directing them towards the touchline.
Last feet.
Narrowing the options for the pack of 8 from Wales. Set free by Archie Hughes. Great leg drive there, putting Wales in position. Hughes looking for a gap. A tackle by Senna. Evan Hill calls for support. Once again, the Japanese defensive line looking strong once it gets sorted. But France gave them trouble by some quick recycle ball from a couple of phases. Can the Welsh do the same? Turning to the forward, stepping up to it, De La Rua. Pick up from the base and go, supported by Lloyd.
3-step.
Morse.
Advantage offside.
Another penalty advantage waiting for Wales now. So the discipline of Japan just lapsing for a moment, lined up on the outside of Clean Morgan.
3. Offside.
And the Japanese players, not in the 23 today, very much enjoyed that from the stands.
Captain, shot. On the right post.
We started off from the set piece Wales, and they showed lots of patience around and just picking and going and making sure that their forwards can recycle quick ball. They wanted to generate as quick ball so that they can attack with the outside backs, forcing Japan to be offsides, and in that way they were rewarded with the penalty. This gives a chance now for Daniel Edwards to strike the first points of this game.
Easy game for Daniel Edwards. The first 3 points on the board. Wales in the lead.
Great patience and good game management, getting up upfield with their kicking game. Our forwards have really decided today they're going to be rolling up their sleeves and getting close and physical with the Japanese. Big 5, big 8.
Rather flat kickoff from Japan, brilliantly fielded by Morgan. Leon Morgan, the right wing for Wales, sets the rack. They turn to the big boys once more to start crunching it up in these very rainy conditions indeed in Stellenbosch, and the rain is promised to continue all day long. Hughes setting up another contestable kick. Morgan's after that, brilliantly done in the air by Yazaki.
Off the boot.
They've lost control of Japan, and Kelleher Griffiths capitalizes for Wales. Charge down.
Never on side 4.
Yeah, never behind the last man's feet with Sasaki. Wales using a strong kicking game. Players trying to put the pressure back, never retreated back. Was number 4, Yuzuki Sasaki, caught on the offsides on the retreat. Mona Ferreira sharp on it.
Another quality line out from Wales.
Inside the 5.
And the under-20s looking to make progress, but the Japanese maul defense stalwart for now.
Great body positioning from Japan, really getting low and connected.
Good, that's once.
Hughes sets it free. Playing it short was Bradley to Morgan Morse. Oh, and slipping through the arms of Daniel Edwards in these trying conditions. Wales see an opportunity pass them by.
Well, it won't be off loss in the first time we'll see that. Spiral ball coming in, bullet to Daniel Edwards. Just could not get hold of that ball. But we've already seen the feature of Morgan Morse, number 8. In the last game, carrying 15 times. As a man who is there to generate the go-forward ball and gain line dominance. Japan really up for it. Good body positioning, defending that driving more, fighting for every inch. And it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it now.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Let's move over. Move over.
And important in the scrum
Your feet underneath your
to
body.
get a bit
Support your body weight.
of stability. Mona Ferreira really suggesting to Louis Fletcher to get the feet a bit tighter and closer, get the feet underneath the shoulders, and that way they can get stability in this wet conditions in Donny Craven Stadium. Looking for that preload before this.
Bind. Set.
Shoulders below the hips, and that has given a good encouragement and energy to the Japanese pack.
Touch not found, win it underneath that ball, and Wales have an opportunity to counter-attack. The outside centre, Hennessy. Hughes digging in, Fletcher. Keeping ball in hand anywhere on the field right now, Wales, but they've been dominating territory up to this point of the match, although they're in their own half right now. Hughes setting up another contestable kick from the base of this rack. Japan getting closer and closer to charging those down, but difficult to handle in these conditions. Backwards is the call. Japan into touch. Wales ball.
Archie Hughes will be important in this game, his kicking game, and the way that he gives so much hang time. Not too many balls will be going to Daniel Edwards unless it's a free strike on an attack. Good contest on the breakdown.
Around the back comes Lewis Lloyd. Hughes gets it away to Green, but the Japanese defense is aggressive in those first few channels, knocking back the young Welshman early on. Hughes sends another one high. This one slightly too long to be contestable. Marked. Oh boy.
Koshamuto will be disappointed in that. The try scorer from the last game against New Zealand, where he used exuberance, a free catch here. Chances to clear his lines, and he decided to have a crack and a go.
At the breakdown,
And a high risk,
players back in.
no reward at the moment.
That's a general for the team. Yeah.
So, Klubani, not easy to be the underdog at the competition, promoted from the trophy competition after beating Portugal in Brazil in 2019. So for Japan, with France coming up as well, with New Zealand coming up, how do they manage this match? Are they targeting victory here, or do you put all of your energy in?
What a great opportunity for them. First of all, how proud should they be as a nation to get themselves into the championship, and now they're praying for the ones to come behind them. It's about showing pride and making sure that they stay up and be as competitive as possible and take the opportunities when they arise. You can already see the wet ground, players losing their footing. I mean, to be working with an experienced coach like Rob Penny, that's massive for this youth, and it's massive for them and their program.
Higher. Crouch. Bind. Set. Move over. On the crouch, you need to come higher.
Players need to really get a bit closer to get that stability. Just first things first, I think the second shot will be more important than the hit. When the conditions are like this, that's going to frustrate the officiating, because the first thing you'll be looking at is with the shoulders below the hips, and the calls could go against you. So getting a steady scrum will be important for both sides.
Set. Number 3, Frankie.
Louis Fletcher is perplexed. Japan are celebrating vociferously.
The scrum will carry on for Wales as they struggled in the last game, only getting 73% of that. You want to, on your set piece, be around about the 90s. And this gives an easy exit and retaining position for Japan. Looking onto his shoulder, how he turns that shoulder down, that is why the penalty was there. That turns the shoulders low of the Japanese loose head. Wang center.
Crucial lineup for Japan, claimed by Harry Willard, and with ball in hand, it's been a rare occurrence in this first half. Approaching its 12th minute. It's partially charged kick, and Japan missed a couple of tackles, presenting a half chance for Wales. Handling error in there. Japan have their hands back on the ball. And they'll be running it from deep with this, the one chance they've had, and what a run it is from Yazaki. Losing control. Wales with ball in hand now, Archie Hughes. looking for gaps right up the guts, and a couple of broken tackles, and these wet conditions are providing some half chances for either side. Now kicking into space, Daniel Edwards, very well marshaled in the end by Oyike. Will turn to the boot himself, drive it up the touchline here in Stellenbosch. Winners. Seen plenty of ball early on when he's been asked to run every time. Big strong hit from Nagashima, chopping the young Welshman down. Hill on the run. Not called, no, the ball called backwards rather. Hughes gets it away to Bradley. Got a big frame on him, Bradley. Hughes away to Fletcher. The Japanese territorially will be very pleased with where they're keeping Wales right now. They've played the majority of this match thus far in their own half, but right now it looks like Hughes is going to change that narrative once more, setting up a contestable kick. And the kick chase from Wales has been prolific thus far. Another misjudged one, and Wales come piling through. Keeping his feet impressively is Houston. That's the 22-meter line of the Japanese. Hughes spots a gap, he grubbers through. Japan all over. Ooh. Oh boy. Well handled in the end by Yazaki. Yazaki backing himself behind his own try line. Well, shining early on with ball in hand, the number 11 for Japan, Yazaki, the counteract from Wales, posing some problems now for Japan. Looked like Lewis Fletcher lending his way to that, the tight head prop of these young Dragons. And now bringing calm to the situation, Takahashi. Well, just about. The captain under pressure, Omachi. And the conditions are making their presence felt here at Kobani.
Difficult to control, but we need the patience and good ball protection, and skill sets will be tested whilst deciding to put the ball on the foot. And the more that ball rolls onto the ground, the difficult it is for you as a defending side to pick it up off the ground. The wet conditions, bad territorially organised Wales and playing in the right side of the field.
More.
Johnny Green reaching up and clutching that one out of the skies. Once more, Morgan Morse is on the charge. More meters for Morse, and they send it away to Evan Hill. Wales looking ominous. The pop ball off the ground to Johnny Green. Japan hold on, but a couple of these loose passes behind their own try line. This time, of course, playing under advantage, but they're not afraid to throw the ball around.
Koki Mayashita with a massive hit on Johnny Green and dislodges that ball in contact after the gain line was breached by Morgan Moss. Japan has to get themselves in the right body position, and that was key for that tackle to be effective. And after that, it was a hot potato in the try line.
Trade in the gap. Crouch! Bind! Set!
No reset this time. Rare occurrence at scrum time in this match. Wales come piling through and Japan get it free just in time. Living on the edge, the Japanese right now, but that clearance kick is quality.
A better scrum from both sides as they kept the scrum a bit higher. In that way they weren't so close to the gravity, which is straggling and compromised by the footing and the ground being so wet. And what they've done there, they stayed a bit higher, and that gave us a good contest. Good clearance. Still under pressure though, Japan.
Set piece looking solid from Wales. The inside ball sees Hugh flying free, and the offload is to Bradley. Bradley gets it away. Hughes, quality from Wales.
The one thing in rugby, the set piece play, you only get one chance on the game where it could work, because you catch the team unawares, but it is a well set. Players in motion and they'll back ball onto the inside. Just outstanding work of backing up and working off the ball. A well set and good appreciation. Archie Hughes running the support line, and the scrum half scores the first try of the game. But what a set piece that was from this Welsh on the 20 side. really taking it up onto the line with all players in motion. That created an opportunity on the back on the inside, over-tracking from Japan, and it was exploited.
Daniel Edwards raises the flags. A testing kick for the young number 10. No problem. 10 points to 0.
Confident start, and the ball back onto the inside from Bradley to Archie Hughes. Just worked out like a charm for them. A set piece attack try are always pleasing for the side. Just means all your systems are working.
Naramoto sends it high, not high enough for the Japanese players to arrive as it landed, but the aggressive defensive line led by Kusura that time, putting pressure on Wales, this time keeping them just outside their 22-meter line, but Hughes has relieved the pressure time after time, just like this. Once again misjudged by Japan. Not back is the call, and they'll play on from here, thankfully so, with Sasaki. But still, the 4:15 of Japan getting behind the ball as they're behind their own halfway line now. Desperate for progress. Looked like Willard carrying it in. Takahashi looks to be setting up a contestable kick of his own. Should be Yazaki chasing after this, the impressive number 11. It's gone too long for him, and central as well. It's going to fall into the arms of Daniel Edwards, who has all the options in the world, and he's pinged that one downfield. The angle not quite right to hit the corner, but not a bad effort from Edwards. Oh, unfortunate for him here. Oh, well, that's bad luck.
Echo playing that ball a bit. Wasn't getting that roll that he thought he expected, and he tried to make sure that he keeps it in field, kicking more onto the 15 off the field, and that way he can get more time to roll out to the try line. But that takes them all back now. It's an attacking situation that will be facing Japan, and defensively Wales will be asked questions. Already you can see there's two sides relying on the boot a bit more because of the conditions, but that doesn't matter. That's a beautiful challenge. A skill set will be tested. This is why as a junior international you want to be competing at this level. And with this weather, it's time to show off.
Much bit of patience. Keep it like that. Closer and higher. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Takahashi feeds the scrum in opposition territory. This represents a massive opportunity for Japan. Their captain, Omachi, on the carry. Takahashi directing the troops. He wants to play blind. The Welsh defense is ready for them. Takahashi frees it again.
It is a move.
Muscling up into the defenders at this point, Japan. More called, and Nagashima does well to get to ground. Takahashi to his number 8, Kusura, and it's a bit of a misjudgment from Japan. Sees them traveling backwards.
The attrition that has been put by the Welsh pack to the Japanese pack made it even harder for them to fall to the far side, because they've been making tackles, scrummaging, setting up and trying to stop driving mauls, and that always on to the players. A game like this, it is about attrition, and it will take a lot for the teams to give themselves a chance and opportunity. That means working even harder off the ball.
As well. All right. So foul play review. Okay. I'm ready when you are, Quentin.
All right, Mornay, are you ready?
Yeah, ready. Nothing on screen yet, Quentin.
I will let you know now. Okay, ready to go. So just to look at the actions of 4 red.
4 red. So there's direct head contact. He is
And
upright, so we have
and
foul
100
play.
and on 100.
Right, Quinton. So what I'm seeing is number 4 makes direct head contact. It is foul play as the player is upright. It meets the yellow card threshold, and we send it for off-field review. Yeah, so yellow card is for the bunker. So yeah, so it is head contact, and it is upright. The yellow card. Number 4. 4. So there is head contact, and you're upright in the tackle. So it's a yellow card and off-field review.
The yellow card is shown to Evan Hill, and for those who didn't watch the first day of play, there is a bunker system in action, meaning that this decision will be reviewed while the play continues. The yellow card issued, you saw Morne Ferreira cross his arms above his head. That means it will be sent to a separate team of referees apart from the TMO, who will see if there's foul play that raises to the level of red. And if that is the case, during the 10 minutes while the player is off the field, Evan Hill, the yellow card will be elevated to a red. Now kicking for touch, Omachi with 15 against 14, Japan on the attack.
Getting a bit more ball, Japan. And they'll compromise teams because of the way that they run such a low gravity, staying low down to the ground so they can get a bit of yards.
The rolling maul of Japan. This is how they got one of their 2 tries in round 1. They back it, and they are moving towards the try line. Tremendous control. Look at the formation staying together. Driving for the line. It's Nagashima.
The trophy champions now in the championship. I make they roll. That's big from them. That's massive from Mogashima right at the back. I've enjoyed the fact that everyone stayed low and in control. The backs joined up, but it's their body positioning as they splintered through this Welsh defense. They could not repel them. Japan was connecting and cohesion worked. And this is hard working. It's a reward for the forward pack who've been defending that driving maul, and finally they get a chance in the 22, they convert.
The strike is clean, and it is successful. Brilliantly done by Naramoto. Tough kick as well in the conditions. 10 points to 7, Wales lead.
That's just great work. They went to their set piece. They trusted that. That's how they got rewarded against France when they played. And they back onto the scoreboard in a form of Kota Magashima. And they get another try and loaded a few more backs there who'll say that it made a massive contribution. Every backline always takes the forward's glory.
Flat kickoff this time from Wales. Japan receive and respond in kind. Win it's the number 15. He's run it every time he's touched the ball. This time rip loose in the tackle. Scrum advantage being played to Wales. The aggression of this Japanese side has been at high level from before the first whistle, and it has not tapered off. Hughes setting up the contestable kick. Underneath it, this time Yazaki, without the Welsh players arriving at the same time, giving Yazaki more time to measure it. Taking it clean this time, and Japan surely will have to improve on that box kick receipt if they are to continue their good form in this match. Still 15 against 14 for the yellow card to Wales, as Willard carries it in for Japan. Patient at the back of the ruck is Takahashi, and Yazaki's after this. Tap back in field, Japan get their hands on the ball, Senna keeps it alive, it's away to Naramoto. The cross kick from Naramoto is ambitious, but they love to play fast and loose when they have the chance, Japan. We're going back for a penalty.
Yeah, the penalties against Lewis Lloyd, no arms tackle. There's a call from Quentin Emmerman, our television match official, who advised Morne Ferreira about that foul play that happened. Japan. Well, they could preempt the fact that Wales is going to kick a box kick, in that way they can drop a few numbers and protect the ball carrier or the man who's contesting the kick, not finding touch here.
The second time Japan have made that mistake, and with all the territory that they do not have in this match thus far, they will be smarting on the back of those lost opportunities. The ball was out, the captain Omachi came piling through on Hughes, and Wales scrambling to recover possession. That yellow card seemingly having disrupted this Welsh side, and Japan applying all the pressure. Less than 15 minutes till the half-time break. Hughes sends it skywards once more. Japan underneath this one. Looked like there was a touch of indecision. Well fielded in the end by Muto.
Use it.
Carried 11 times for 90 meters in that loss against France, in which Japan saw very little of the ball indeed.
No. Use it.
Cleared from the base by Takahashi. Oh, tremendous pressure on Naramoto. And looking to respond. Delicate kick this. It's going to be drifting towards the touchline, and chasing after it is Daniel Edwards. Oh, the bounce just going over once more.
Right, Daniel Edwards just making sure that the ball stays in front of his forward pack. And that's how he's managed this game. And
time off.
And he's not just managed this game.
Captain.
Let's listen to what Monifere has to report.
So with a foul play against number 4, it will remain the yellow card. So he's back about when it's 10 minutes left. Okay.
Well, that's the decision that was made. The card won't be escalated to a red, or will remain a yellow card. As for me, I saw the mitigating factor of the player was actually dropping as the contact came about. And that's why he got a shot in the head.
Goal line dropout, goes long underneath the ball. Daniel Edwards sends it away to Morgan Morse. Lost control, knock-on advantage. Japan knock it on in kind. And we're going back for the scrum, where Japan are beginning to back themselves as well. And you can see quite evidently the motivation level is not low amongst the Japanese ranks.
Move over a little bit.
Oh, it's a fight. It's the courage within this team. And they're playing for more than this. They're playing for the future stars of Japan. Get themselves into a chance to stay in the championship. And the tackles are strong, and a good body positioning, targeting the ball in this way. Players' ball protection will be key. Leading with the one hand and keeping the ball away from contact is one of those decisions and adjustments you have to make in this weather.
Crouch. Point. Set.
Oh, plenty of afters after the whistle there. It's not what you want to see.
Yeah. On the set, get stability, control the heat. You guys have to meet the set. Right, meet the set, stability.
Well, for those under 20 fans hoping that France may have lost a step, it wouldn't be going back to back to back. They are leading quite handsomely over New Zealand's under 20s right now in Paul. Looking for their second victory in the group, marching on to the #1 spot if it continues that way.
Crouch.
#1 seed France, very good junior program, and they do have all the intellectual property coming into the clubs, of all the players from the Southern Hemisphere going over there to trainers and everything, starting to really bear fruit now.
Completely dominant scrum from Japan, and their coaching staff celebrates as the arm is extended by Mone Ferreira.
Not pushing straight.
And the shining talent of this Japanese side, Yazaki, just couldn't get his hands on that ball.
Not pushing straight.
Struggling again at the scrum time. Japan in the front row. Tomita, Mokashami and Senna really showing what they're capable of doing. Getting themselves on the front foot from the scrimmaging. It's good hard work from this pack of forwards from Japan. up for the grind and up for the grit.
Not pushing straight, so swing around.
Are not putting straight. Already the shoulders have turned. Already you can see that number from the touch judge's side of the field, which means it's not working north-south, it's going east-west.
Feed to the line out from Japan comes from Nagashima, not as tidy as they might have liked. But they clean it up in the midfield and retain possession. What a turnaround of events from the opening 10-15 minutes of this match when it was all Wales in territory and possession. Japan have come roaring back into it with the extra man on the field for the past 10 odd minutes. Tapped back in field, but we're coming back for another penalty.
1-3 offside.
All right, it was a momentum swing. Losing a man in the sin bin. What was important at that time was Japan got themselves onto the scoreboard, the confidence got up, the energy was lifted, and now these players, they do believe and they do have a chance. As long as the weather is there, it's a leveling factor because everyone gets affected with it. But it's a work rate and the passion that you put behind the work rate and getting yourself in the right position. Offsides was Louis Hennessy, the number 13, the outside centre of Wales, was caught maybe rushing the gun and jumping the gun a bit.
Nagashima feeds the line out. Mogami taking it, and the penalty arm extended once more by Morne Pereira. Looking for the no-looker.
Early drive.
Naramoto gets shut down, but it's penalty after penalty that Wales are conceding.
That's a discipline that cost them against New Zealand, where they lost by 1 point. They gave away 16 penalties in that game already. Today, just 5 penalties. And we are close to a half-time, so
7, early drive.
Back onto the field is the yellow card, Evan Hill.
Holding the air, come down.
But how much he is, the difference and the change of picture, Japan in attack.
Nagashima feeds Kusura, and Japan go rolling towards the Welsh try line once more. Their formation is solid. Wales getting cynical. Try awarded. Nagashima rises once more. The number 2 has 3 tries in the tournament.
Well, the yellow card has cost Wales 2 tries on the scoreboard at the moment, just 12 conceded. That momentum change, and this team has really taken advantage of keeping their discipline and working hard off the ball. But it's the set piece that they go to, they're driving more. They got the penalty that got them here from the scrum within their own half, and after that, maintaining possession, forcing Wales to mistakes, and their forward pack fighting straight through the work. And Makashima, Kota with the second one. Good brace for and a reward for that rumbunctious play from the pack of Japan.
Kanjiro Naramoto hasn't got a great deal behind that, but he sneaks it over the ball. What a kick! And it's Japan that lead by 14 points to 10.
Land of the rising sun, now the Blossoms are out here really showing and putting up a fight, and it's their forward pack that's really rewarding them. Every time they got into the 22, they've converted.
Daniel Edwards goes long, not contestable anymore for the Welsh players to arrive, partially charged off the kick from Yazaki, and it'll be a put into the lineup to Japan, whose support just continues to grow in volume.
Well, I think about momentum swing, all of a sudden the bounce is favoring them, and they're growing an inch every time they get to make a positive contribution towards their side.
Fed to the line out by Nagashima, cleaned up on the bouncing ball by Takahashi. Crashing it up in midfield, Mogami. Oh, double try scorer now, Nagashima with the interplay, in Japan are sourcing right now. Outside it's Kusura. Really playing on the front foot. Played away by Takahashi, empowering through the tackles. It was Harry Willard But unfortunately, Japan losing control just at the last second, but they really have the bit between their teeth.
Oh, brilliant execution. Just the work and the planning of going to that blind side, the way that they had those deceptive runners and putting the ball through their hands. Look at the wraparound and the work that is done off the ball. This is brilliant work and good ball security, protection as well, and then after that just forcing the play, a bit of ball dropping, getting man and ball, and dislodge out of his hands from the big man Tomita.
Trick play to the front this time from Japan. Nagashima feeding, and Japan might just get away with this. Takahashi clears it from the base. And playing in Wales territory still. It's been a tremendous turnaround from the opening 15-20 minutes, and Takahashi will drive Japan deeper into Welsh territory. Under the ball, Clean Morgan.
Over here.
Call for the mark.
Come back.
Morgan goes long, good connection on that kick. It's fallen into the arms of Naramoto. The number 10 of Japan sends one high for his fullback to chase, and Muto's after this. Muto chasing down Hughes, great tackle. Wales keeping the wits about them. They have a half chance on the outside. Their inside center puts boot the ball, and Bradley wants his teammates to chase that, but on the cover is Yazaki. He's had a pretty good half.
Right. He's had an omnipresence and everything positive about Japan, just covering up and making sure that he chases and covers the space as a blindside winger, running onto the open side kick. But Japan have really shown confidence and love the fact that they're so competitive in every facet of the game.
Japan coming away with possession via Tomita. And then number 10, Naramoto, keeps it moving. The back line is hungry for it. Muto's on the outside, and he feeds it to Yazaki. Yazaki cuts back in. The Welsh cover is there, but Japan in position to put tremendous pressure on the Welsh. The crossfield kick comes from Naramoto, and Japan have numbers on the outside. Sensational rugby. Oike in for the try.
Spoke about conditions like this give you a chance to show off, and they're showing off those skill set. Their hands are soft, sympathetic passing down the line. They go, Japan stretching the Welsh, and again this work from Yazaki to come back and make sure that they can retain possession. What it does, everyone now has funneled down to that breakdown. Where is the width? Where is the space? It's out wide, and Oyiki does what? Because he's patient here, and he makes sure that he protects the ball, and it's a try for Japan from a well-taken position, giving themselves opportunity, and a great work from Naramoto with that cross kick.
Naramoto with another challenging kick from the touchline. This time it's no good. Japan's lead remains 19 points to 10 with 3 tries in the bag in the first half.
Naramoto onto his left foot, and in that ball just bouncing correctly. Renji Oinke onto the corner they go. Last 3 tries from them, and it's been from hard work, grinding and making sure that you can meet up physically, but their skill set is what's setting them apart.
That kickoff from Daniel Edwards. They've been getting flatter and flatter from Wales. One has to presume it was a change of tactic, as it's driven into touch by Japan up beyond the halfway line. What a turnaround of events in the first half from the opening 15 minutes of Welsh dominance.
Confidence is a hell of a drug.
Put into the line out is going to come from Lewis Lloyd. Rising high in the middle of the line out was Johnny Green. You can see the number 4, Evan Hill, back from the sin bin. I believe shortly before Japan's second try. Hughes going to free it from the base. An advantage being played, powering onto this. Bradley, patient with the pass. The scramble from Japan, good enough.
Number 5.
And this whole first half, what Japan had done was meeting the challenge in front of them, and they're driving more. They set themselves a bit lower this time around, getting more confident, started competing, and got beat on the ground, and Wales dominated that. They had to sack it, which was why the penalty was given. This man, we've seen him in this wide open spaces. Look at the body positioning now. Everyone standing up a bit taller, Wales getting a bit lower, and at the end it was Harry Willard who was forced to collapse that.
Lewis Lloyd feeds the line out again. Difficult one for Green to handle. And yes, that ball was passed over a couple of players, so obstruction was a possibility. Lewis Lloyd not worried about that. He's over for the try.
Well, Lewis Lloyd had to go give Mone Ferreira a high five because he coached him to a try. That could have been a penalty if he kept that ball, because it was transferred over the players who were obstructing because the ball had moved over their heads. But what he does well here is keep the ball in two hands, keeps the defender, keeps on guessing. There was a man onto the outside, Lloyd, back onto the scoreboard. This is brilliant work from the hook, and they needed that, Wales. They needed to strike before half-time. And what a time to strike after they disciplined a yellow card and a few penalties that they've conceded, 7 of them, only to 3 to Japan.
Challenging one this for Daniel Edwards to make it a 2-point game. That one never bending back from Edwards. And the half-time whistle blows. What a first half it's been, swinging to and fro between Wales and Japan. This the first of 3 matches coming away from Darnie Craven today in the World Rugby Under-20 Championship. And at half-time, it is indeed Japan that lead by 19 points to 15. Don't go anywhere. The second half is coming up next. This is the Marcotta Complex in Stellenbosch, home of the University of Stellenbosch's first team rugby side, the proud maroon machine known as the Marties. But here in the first of 3 matches coming your way in the World Rugby Under-20 Championship of 2023, Wales take on Japan. Japan promoted from the trophy competition just last year and making a real fist of it here against the Welsh side, who have had ups and downs in their build-up to this competition indeed. Suffering badly at the Six Nations competition this year, but last year in 2022, in a rearranged tournament in absence of the World Under-20 Championships, the Welsh lost in the final of the 2022 Summer Series, 47 points to 27 against South Africa, the eventual champions of that competition organized in Europe, to keep the age group competitions alive. Since after 2019 they were cancelled due to the global pandemic, Japan winning that trophy tournament in 2019, and of course none of those players remaining to enjoy playing in the cup competition proper here in 2023, 4 years after we took a hiatus. And now at half-time, Japan leading by 4 points against Wales, and what many would consider an upset, have it all to do in the second half to retain this lead. So with ball in hand, their captain Yoshiki Amachi, who has been impressive, but not as impressive indeed as the left wing Yoshitaka Yazaki, who has been electrifying, as well as number 10 Naramoto with that cross kick for the try. Expensive play coming from Japan. As for Wales, more conservative, dominant early on when they had all 15 on the field, but they have not found that dominance again since getting Evan Hill back onto the park. So the Japanese lie in wait. The Welsh have it all to do, trailing by the 4 points. 40 minutes to play. Yoshiki Omachi, captain of Japan, taking charge of the kickoffs, which were not his permit in the first half. He's gone deep, and Wales will start from just outside their 22. Up it goes. Great contest from Wales. A player off the bench, Tom Florence in the number 21 jersey, making the impact. And it was a knock-on indeed. Playing the advantage, Japan. Good carry from Yuzuki Sasaki. Haven't seen much physical carry from the Japanese forwards, playing that expansive back game and playing for territory as well. The captain of Japan, Omachi, kicks centrally, leaving the decision with Wales on how to approach, and the response comes from Winnett, very well measured by Oike in the end. Dragging that one in by his fingertips, slicing off the side of the boot, attacking line on for Wales.
They win the kicking contest, Wales, and they get territorial gain. It's going to be a patience matter, and execution is going to be important. And just marshalling your forward pack, making sure that you can work and keep the energy.
Hold on. There's no gap. So open up in line with him.
Have to keep that ball in front of your pack. Ball coming off the side of the foot. Tomike. Japan.
Lloyd feeds the line out, and it's gone wrong for Wales, and what a time for it to go wrong as well. An attacking one just outside of the opposition's 22. Japan working the hands, believing that they can break the line from their own 22-meter. The ambition is admirable, Slobani, but when it goes wrong, you put yourself in a spot of bother.
There was a bit of a forced pass at the end. Man had taken up the space on defensive front and didn't have to force the pass. Retaining possession will have been key for them. But I love the fact and ambition of a turnover ball. You have to give it a bit of work because you're taking it away from where the congested spaces are. Spaces out on the open side, and for that you have to encourage the players to do.
Crouch. Point. Set. Ball's out.
Bedlam at scrum time, twisting this way and that. The ball is out, no penalty advantage going either way, and Hughes sets it free, and Wales just can't hold onto the ball for a number of phases, and Japan love to play on the break. The kick over the top coming from Muto. Muto's after this, and it's Tom Florence on his own back here for Wales. Florence completely isolated, he takes them on. Japan come piling in, but Wales scramble well to protect the ball. But look at where they're playing on the field once again. The territorial battle completely turned around by Japan about halfway through that first half. Hughes.
Use it. One side.
Archie Hughes with the clearance kick. Strong angle on that one, giving an attacking line out to Japan.
Japan on transition, looking to take the ball to the width, and it's a great time because you're not kicking under duress, you're actually kicking at your own will and pushing the ball upfield. That's important for them. Their driving more has resulted in 2 tries in that first half.
Slapped back onto Japan's side, impressively so,
Captain option.
by Riku Tomita.
Scrum will line out. Scrum option.
The tight head props efforts nullified by the call from referee Morne Ferreira that the throw-in was not straight.
Not in straight. You can see the Koki Mayashita and number 6 loose forward, cheering up these players, not losing energy from a mistake, knowing that they do have the scrum. They got 3 penalties, scrum penalties against Wales in that first half. So some place where they're confident in the set piece.
Point. Set.
Archie Hughes feeds the scrum. Japan come piling through.
Loose edge. Angle.
Well, that's the confidence that they do have on their set piece. Wales have really struggled in this under-20 championship, where their scrum has really creaked. Man who started it tight head on their first game was Alice Frackrell, who cried off a shoulder injury. Lewis Fletcher had to start, and this is the scrum. And a second shove onto the ball. Wales not hooking that ball, but Japan have done enough in the eyes of Morne Ferreira. And again, ball not in, straight in the line out. Magashima holding himself back from a hat-trick.
True indeed, 2 tries to the number 2's name, and it's his own throw-in that takes away that possibility away from him, wrapping around there to join at the back. And Japan's rolling maul has looked so well formed throughout this competition thus far. Wales may well have been in trouble, but in general, Wales seeing this match turning against them possession-wise, territory-wise, and the confidence to the naked eye appears to be waning just a touch. But of course, a try could turn that all around. It's a 4-point game.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
With the wet turf underfoot here at the Dani Craven Stadium, we have another reset scrum, and for those in the front row fraternity who might be wanting to see some scrums today, coming up next, Argentina against Georgia, 2 nations that love it.
Well, it's a scrum fest, isn't it? I'm looking forward to that physicality, just the passion from 2 sides. They've shown in that first game how Argentina being marshaled by one of the better players in number 10 position. Paranoia.
Bind. Set.
Wales getting cranked at scrum time again. Hughes breaking from the base to make it good, and my, hasn't he done well? In over the ball, Japan just missing out on that turnover. But look at where they're playing the game right now, Wales. Deep inside their own 22-meter line, making an angle for a clearing kick, one would imagine. And Hughes having to get that free. Ooh, it looks like some big trouble for Evan Hill. Really hurting down on the ground for Wales, the number 4, who saw a yellow card in the first half.
Right, got a shot there from counteract, transform on Machi. I think there'll be more to this than what we saw. They really had a go at his shoulder.
Yes, Quinton.
Coming onto the field for Wales, Cian Hire.
Right, perfect. Just put it on screen. So looking at foul play, targeting the legs at the breakdown.
Yeah, so it's on the arm. So the arm is down, supporting himself, but then the player obviously dives at his elbow, to his arm section, elbow section.
Yeah.
Which the player is down, injured.
Tabani, you spotted it.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, we can go. So just look at the actions of 12 blue.
Yeah, ball has already won there. It's unwarranted.
And this will be the second at 100.
Yeah.
That's at full speed.
So it's direct on the joint.
Actually, this is highly reckless. Targeting the joint.
We're just happy there's no change in the arm going down. Is it clear enough?
Yeah. So it meets yellow card threshold and we send it to the bunker.
Yeah.
All right, Quinton, so we have at number 12 charging into the breakdown, making contact to the joint. It meets the yellow card threshold and send it to the bunker for review. 12. 12. So it is a yellow card. He can't charge into a breakdown, making contact to a joint.
No bind?
So it's a yellow card and a bunker.
Well, you'd be disappointed, Yoshiki Omachi.
Okay, we'll get
Wales had already won the possession. There was no way that he was going to effect that in any case. Instead of saving his energy, he had a power shot.
And Wales, with the one young man advantage in this under-20 competition, can they capitalize in the way that Japan did and turn this match on its head, change the momentum altogether?
Foul play, targeting the man onto the joint, and it is deemed reckless.
Another untidy line-out for Wales, and Lewis Lloyd having to clean up the scraps at the back. Got himself a try in the first half.
Use it!
Having to change his plans on the back of a rolling maul. Now, a lot of angle on that kick from Hughes. Not exactly where he wanted it to go, but Wales back in possession all the same. Morgan Morse, who has been missing somewhat since the opening salvos of this match. Devastating ball carrier for Wales. Hughes sends another contestable one high. Much better measurement on this one. Not handled well by Kusura, who took a hit on the back of that as well, and a scrum is coming the way of Wales.
And that's how they started in the first half, Wales, putting the ball up in the air and making Japan retreat back, and they struggled to handle the aerial bombardment from Archie Hughes. Just never got himself set underneath that ball. Leading with your hands is a much better way of looking the ball into your hands, and you can control it. And turning your body towards your try line makes it much easier. If the ball is knocked, it's knocked backwards.
Crouch! Stand up. There's a clear gap on the outside for your head. Get your head in the gap as well. Stay on the outside.
Dylan Keller, Griffiths, being told where to get himself into better position onto the outside of the tight head and open up the space in between. It's a much higher set because of the field condition.
Crouch! Point. Set.
Early shove.
No stability.
Not a bad result for Wales. Get some clean ball on the back of that, and they're running it right away. Sending it wide, it skipped out Winnett, and onto the ball came Florence. Onto the field for number 14, Clean Morgan at halftime. Hughes complaining to referee Pereira. But Wales with a massive opportunity here, trailing by the 4 points. Kelleher Griffiths into the fray. It's away to Edwards at the back line of Wales, looking static when they have the chance to run. Diving back on this ball to rescue the situation is Hennessy. The Japanese come piling in with 14 players on the pitch. They're up across the halfway line as a result of their defensive nous. Oh boy, big hit on Takahashi, driven backwards. And now Japan would do well to consolidate and figure out which way they're trying to play this ball. Takahashi with a chip over the top coming from Naramoto. Wales struggling to deal with this. Winnett's at the back. And a penalty to Japan.
Yeah. An advantage was played by Mone Ferreira.
Number 5, offside, never onside.
But
thank you. Captain? Who's captain here? So the yellow card's being upgraded to a red card. It's high danger and no mitigation. Yeah. All right, so it's a red card for number 12.
Number 12?
Yeah, he was already off for the yellow card.
The bunker system in action. The yellow card was reviewed over the course of those 10 minutes, and it's come back as a decision for a red card for the captain of Japan, Yoshiki Omachi. So he will not be returning to the field. And just for those who have been watching rugby in New Zealand and elsewhere around the world, there is no replacement coming back on after 20 minutes. There's no orange card, none of that in application here at the World Under-20 Championships. It's 15 against 14 from here on for Japan. 4 points between them.
Discipline, such a key thing. It happens to be one of their leaders, their captain, who got a red card for reckless play and a targeting. And there's not mitigating factors on. There's an unwarranted actions by the captain.
Whoa, backwards.
Harry Willard, the recipient of line-out time. Japan can't get the rolling maul going this time. And Morgami takes a big hit. Inside the Welsh 22-meter line. They'll have to be on their game from now on. Being 14 against 15 on the back of that red card. Wrapping around the corner, phase off the face. Mogami on the carry again, heading the other direction. Takahashi and turning to the toe. Naramoto, his boot has been proficient thus far, but that one well covered by Cameron Winnett.
Brilliant work and brilliant cover from Winnett.
On me.
And using the laws to his advantage, he could take a fair catch in his 22. And he does well now as he releases a bit of pressure from his own 22 just to closer to the 10-meter line. It's going to be important now for Japan to double up on their roles and double up on their work effort, which means then the bench is going to be important for them on when they make the calls and who they take on and who they put on. Although they've lost a backline player, they can manage with the 8 in front.
Nagashima feeds the line out, and that's the third one that hasn't come back their way in the second half. Japan, they were almost perfect in the first. The attempted kick through somehow, landing back in the arms of Brian Bradley. Oh, what a line. Brilliant defense from Japan, staying strong as Captain Ryan Woodman crashes into the defense. Bradley on the carry, effective inside center he is, and the pick and go comes from De La Rua. Looking more confident with ball in hand now. Wales with that one young man advantage. Hughes gets it away to Edwards, but Japan once again with the defensive line knocking them back.
Chop tackling, key for them, taking down all the momentum.
Big hit there on Morgan Morse. Oh, and Edwards sees the slice off the boot. It's all going horribly wrong for Wales, but a scrum put in. Now, Kobani, there's so much time left in this match. Wales have the one-man advantage, being 15 against 14. They've been putting a lot of box kicks up. Would you change your approach here towards the end of this match?
It's about managing the situation and just getting more cool heads. There needs to be more information coming from the outside to either alert in space, opportunity. Otherwise, it's about driving this Japanese side back into their own 22, making them even work harder on attack, and defensively come with those challenging lines that we saw from Ryan Rootman. Get over the gain line. The more you get over the gain line, the more time you have to sit as an attacking team and have your options and opportunity to even communicate. So, big brain are needed here, and the leaders of the game have to start taking control and using that advantage and the numerical advantage against Japan.
Get the stability before we push. Ball needs to be in before we push.
Ah, okay.
So stability on set.
Sorry.
Now Japan in that loss against France by 75 points to 12 struggled with their first time tackles, and the French eventually throwing their big boys with that quick recycle speed. The Japanese defensive line didn't have the time to recover. Wales taking a completely different approach here. You saw just how effective Woodman was with that one angle close to the rack. Let's see if they change their approach, if they keep ball in hand, or if they stick to their tactics.
Set!
Wales bossing the game line 15-9.
Hughes gets it free. Here's the big inside center. Bradley wants to set the rack. But how many times has that happened to Wales today? Knocking the ball on in contact.
It's one of those opportunities where an inside center has been sent off. They needed to manipulate that space and make sure they can trap the three quarters, and then try to get the ball as wide as possible, because where Japan is going to be lacking is onto the edges. But you need to first hold those players in.
Really good scrum.
But just the option taking, that short ball was not on. The ball behind was, and there was opportunity on the outside.
Come on. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Steady as you like. Haven't seen much of that this afternoon thus far. Great from both sides. The kick from Naramoto, well measured, hugging the touchline and forcing Winnett into calling a mark. Winnett.
Well, Naramoto's doing well here. It's just controlling the play and where they're playing, going for territory, knowing that Wales have to kick against the touch line, which means that Cameron Winnett has to try and be more innovative with the banana kick to the touchline, which means we won't get as much purchase now if they're attacking line out 10 meters out on the 10-meter line.
Japan retaining possession from this line out.
So more.
Tyra carries it in, maul called, easily held up, and Wales looking confident they'll be having to put into the scrum.
Oh, Sam Scarf getting a neat ball carrier, and he kept that up. Defensively strong, and you can start to see now that dominance of gain line and physicality is coming up for Wales. That's how they use this ball now to drive the pressure and to contact, not in the right good body position, but Scarf does well here. Gets onto the ball and he attacks what is trouble, which is ball threat is key, and keeping your hands onto that ball makes it hard for any other side to attack against you.
Bind. Set.
Solid scrum from both sides again. Hughes sets it free, and Wales looking confident with ball in hand. Winnett turns to the boot early, and Wales will have to chase after this. Haven't seen much of Yazaki in the second half, and under pressure he puts it into touch, and Wales continue moving downfield, and the 4 points that separate these two sides seems ever smaller all the time.
Blue.
Welsh pack now starting to get a bit of dominance. Be key now for Rob Penny to see how he reacts and adjusts to that.
Great line out for Wales. Sam Scarf under pressure, who scored a try against New Zealand. The replacement hooker nails the mark at a crucial time for the Welsh.
It's a tackle. Sacco's good. Great moving forward.
That's what the sack is. It is a tackle. It's a one-man tackling the jumper, not the lifters. And for that ball not coming out means that we have to reset the game with the scrum and the set piece.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Hughes feeds the scrum with his hands on the ball at the big number 8 Morgan Morse, but it goes out to the break line. Bradley feeds and Edwards almost through a half gap.
First man in.
First man in is the call, and Japan come away with the ball. There's nothing but green grass upfield. It's kicked centrally, and Hughes is herring after this. He's so far ahead of the competition. Gives himself time to get up and make decisions. Tremendous athleticism from Hughes, but it's into the arms of Yazaki, perhaps the best athlete on the other end. Yazaki breaks 2. Yazaki is through. Great offload, and that one filled with desperation, but the ball is still alive somehow. Willard keeping it moving, playing it onto the outside. The whistle cruelly blows as Japan was powering forward.
Oh, just could not find that connecting pass. That what work from Yoshitaka Yazaki, electrifying, exciting 1, 2, 3,
5 and 10.
And I told about the adjustments that were made by Rob Penny. He decides that it's time to throw in an avalanche of reserves, 5 of them at the same time, and it's targeted to the front row because they've had put on the hard work of trying to stop those driving more. The tight 5 had to be refreshed. And how will that work? But the boys who have done the work for them,
the last few scrums,
the start of the game, they're being rewarded now with just the 20 minutes and the last quarter for the impact. Your spark plugs, the players were supposed to bring the impact, a chance and opportunity for them to make some history here in the Under-20 championship.
Now, boys, on me.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
2, 3, 4. Straight down, good, Dylan.
First scrum.
Straight down.
It's a matter of adjusting here. All these players have just came on.
Feet
Siguyura,
support body weight.
Nyumbe and Omoto in that front row. Change in the locking position too for Japan. Kurita coming in number 19 jersey in that locking position.
Bind. Set.
Oh, good scrum from Japan. Here they come. The Japanese looking almighty at scrum time. What an ingenious cross kick that was from Bradley, perfectly measured as well. And Wales have half a chance here. The cover from Japan coming full steam, but powering downfield after his kick is Harry Houston, and he effects his tackle on his opposite number. Yazaki caught in his own 22, and Japan looking to consolidate here. That's brilliant work from Wales on the back of that scrum, travelling backwards. Somehow they've found themselves in opposition territory.
Yazaki does well to buy time and staying on his feet and fighting as long as he possibly can so that he can get those forwards working backwards to help him out in that trouble. And they do clear out of the 22, but still under fire, the Welsh Dragons breathing on them.
Sam Scarf to feed. Designed for Japan to steal. Oh, and that pass going behind the player Miyashita. thinking that he was making a connection with Muto. Oh my goodness. Real trouble for Japan now. A couple of mistakes.
Lapse in concentration, communication being key here. It's going to be important to see what the leadership group of the Japanese young men do. Great competing on the front. The man who just come on. And the number 20 jersey, Kobayashi. But then the passing. And that's why it's let them down. Oyike was not even expecting that ball. And after that, it was throwing the hot potato away. Player still retreating backwards under pressure. Wales, what an opportunity. A red card to the captain, Japan. Really now staring down the barrel. 5 meters out.
Crouch.
Option to attack either side here for Wales.
Bind.
Prop is ready in, so I couldn't get in.
All right. Thanks, sir. Remain in battle. I will handle this. On the bind. Keep the gap. Keep the gap. The gap. Crouch. Bind. Set.
A Welsh scrum under pressure. Japan has been cranking it lately, but look at the stability on offer now. Picked up at the back by Morgan Morse, sent over the top. They've got 1 man extra and they've made it count. Wales are over. Tom Florence scores.
Tom Florence, who is replaced Clean Morgan on the right wing for Wales, has made a huge impact. Set piece Archie Hughes, what a decision to make. Floating and keeping the width because they know that they do have the numbers on the backs. A red card to Captain Omachi was exploited here by Wales and going to the width and a big man in the corner. Tom Florence scores that try that gives them the lead just by 1. The conversion to come from Daniel Edwards.
Tough kick. Unsuccessful from the Welsh number 10. Daniel Edwards does not extend the lead.
Archie use the players that are moving in from the inside as distraction as he makes a floated pass up wide and it finds the width. And the man with good ball carrying sense and stepping onto the inside was Tom Florence, who scores that try. A third one for Wales, first one in their second half.
Naramoto gets the match back underway. Oyike was there first. He just couldn't hold on to that ball in the air. It would have been spectacular. Wales clearing their lines, only up to the halfway, giving Japan the opportunity to counter. Moto has been cancelled. Great tackle by Ryan Woodman, the captain of Wales. Ball changes hands as well, and Mackenzie Martin showing great physicality in the contact to move forward. And the Japanese defense, especially in those first channels, has been stalwart, driving Wales back more times than not. And Hughes once again setting up this contestable kick. A little head dummy as well from Hughes. Not much distance on that, but Wales will get there again. Oh, it's been tremendously successful. Hughes over the top this time, realizing that the player's out of position, driving them backwards, and it's Kosho Muto has to clear the lines eventually.
Now Wales just piling on the pressure. Their kick chase has been brilliant. And that exclamation mark tackle from the leader, the captain Ryan Woodman, just setting the tone. Talked about that dominance physically. Now Wales really up on it.
Crucial line out for Wales. That's gently taken by Johnny Green, and Wales can set up an attack on the Japanese 22-meter line as we head towards the final 10 minutes of this match. A match which looked to be slipping through their fingers. between the 20th and the 60th minute perhaps, but they've fully brought that back under control since the red card to Japan. Now when their opposition's 22, Hughes gets it free to Edwards.
Well, definitely a forward pass. Those hands are leading forward. It's a challenging line from Louis Hennessy, who's trying to change hashtags over there.
Time off.
Hands from Daniel Morgan.
Blue,
Or Daniel
15.
Edwards. Oh,
15.
might as well chipped it.
Well, there he is, the number 10 for Wales, Daniel Edwards, scoring that try against New Zealand when he came on the wraparound. A very interesting match between those two sides. And Tabani, have you seen any improvement in Wales in this match as compared to the last?
Well, I think they've taken a step back in a few ways. They had so much intensity against New Zealand, where they outwork New Zealand. Here, Japan was the ones who stood up against them after the first quarter and starting out working Wales. But the improvements, slight improvements they've made is throughout their discipline. I think what they've done is simplify their game and making sure that a player like Archie Hughes can control this instead of taking the ball to Daniel Edwards, which now becomes too many passes. So he can control that territorial gain and put the pressure back on Japan. So there's loads to work on. Their scrum is still a bit iffy. Something that you can't really dominate a tournament if you don't have a strong set piece. I'm talking, eh?
Right, let's go. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Time back on. Oh, sorry, guys. Red, you need to come closer. Come closer. Thank you.
Let's go!
Crouch. Point. Set. Steady.
It's a one-point game in Stellenbosch, and Japan under pressure. See their scrum off, reeling away from that scrum. Takahashi happy to get the ball away eventually, and it's Imano. Can barely get his boot to that ball, and scrappily it's out into touch. Last touch looks like it came off a Japanese player. Line out to Wales.
Let's stay in middle line. Guys, box going to be over here. Blue on the line. On the line. Small. Over.
Wales setting up the rolling maul. Japan's rolling maul defense has been as impressive as their rolling maul attack.
Okay, that's once.
To stop the Welsh once more. Here's Hughes weighing up his options. This time he turns to his number 12, Brian Bradley.
Tackle needs to roll first.
That's a big one. Penalty to Wales. This dead centre in the field.
Counter is fine, but tackle needs to roll. Number 8.
After a strong dominant tackle, they thought they would have got more from that one, Japan. And just the tackler not rolling away. And it's a strong dominant tackle coming in from Mogami. Now he has to run away and give a chance to that player on the floor to place the ball.
Rising to receive that was Martin. He's had a major impact since coming on, and Morgan Morse. He's had another very good game in the number 8 position, but the handling errors from the Welsh have cost them dearly during this match. Japan looking keen to run this from about 10 meters out from their own try line, and Yazaki cuts back into contact. Indeed, they're looking to run this ball from very deep, from their own 5-meter line. Wrapping back around is Mogami. Wales in over the ball. Now the pressure piling on. And the knock-on is called eventually as Ikuta was backtracking towards his own try line. The energy appears to be draining from this Japanese effort.
Are they putting themselves in such unwanted pressure inside their own half and inside their own 22? They're trying to throw long passes. We've seen that they'll be more adept when they're shorter passing and straighter running, especially with the field the way that it is. And that's where
Number 9.
making the right decision, playing on the right side of the field and putting the pressure back on Wales. Now Wales knowing that the Japanese players are working even harder because they got 14 players on that field. Everyone has to double up on their roles. Wales just using that energy, using their territorial gain, which Archie Hughes has been such a massive catalyst towards that.
Bind. Set. Behind.
Yeah, it has to be
To the scrum.
from behind the scrum, giving it back to Morse would have been a better option. Let him tap and quick and play.
Reset collapse as well.
That's taking the ball in front of the mark. He has to reset it again. They've gone back to the scrum. Wales feeling confident now. Sam Scarf has come on, Josh Moss has come on, and Kean High up in that front row have seemed to have steadied the flow, and we've seen a set piece try for Tom Florence for one similar position.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Edwards lined up behind the scrum, options left and right for Wales under 20, but that scrum effort from Japan. It's precisely what their coach would have been begging for, Mark Jones. Sorry, Rob Penny for Japan. Whereas Mark Jones for Wales, seeing more trouble in that scrum. After winning a penalty, just seeing that dominance from Japan.
It just seemed as if Wales at the back of that scrum had too many options to play with, trying to play against the wheel, but the dominance from the front row of Japan, that's what put the pressure onto them.
Crucial line out for Japan, that fed in by Omoto, and now they're rolling them all upfield. There's one last chance really for this Japanese side. 15 against 14. They have the one man less as their captain was sent from the field, Omachi, and a yellow card that turned into a red. And now running across field is Ikuta. Not good.
Just bad game management at the moment for Japan. They're not really getting much of purchase from their backline play and their width of the game. They're outnumbered from the outside. Wales will be so confident that they can shut them down with the numbers. And that's what they do here. Hennessy, you could easily get up to a man who's running sideways, and that puts great pressure on that breakdown. There's a turnover inflicted there by Sab Driscoll.
Great take at line-out time from Johnny Green, and inside their opposition's 22-meter line. If Wales can get some go forward, surely they're going over the line. Scarf is in the back with the ball tucked under his arm. There's still progress from Wales, slow though it may be, coming straight up the guts of the Japanese defensive effort. And now they appear to have lost hope. Hughes breaking away.
Advantage. Blue on the ground.
Oh, looks like a penalty advantage. Wales still in possession. The pick and go, a conservative one from Driscoll, but conservative is all they should need if they want to get over the line. One try away from that bonus point to keep their dreams alive here, the under-20 championships. Another advantage. It's all Wales now. Bradley Edwards, 2 tries at the tournament.
I scored a similar try against Wales where they did the wraparound. This time again, numbers down as Japan on the defensive side. The forward pack really trapping them right in that 15, and then it was up to the back to show the magic in their hands. Deception and the accuracy of pass and running off the ball was key. Edwards underneath the post, he gives it one. That's great work here from the young Welshman, who withstood the pressure and finally getting that dominance after having to step up physically and get into the faces of the Japanese on the 21 side, on the 20, I beg your pardon. And it's great work from the backs and forwards, combining well to convert that opportunity.
Daniel Edwards knocks it over. Another 2 points for Wales, and Japan have seen this game slip from their clutches.
Oh, that's great work. Look at the run that's made by Hennessy. And that created opportunity for the ball behind for Edwards, where he pulled the players and is running into open, fresh space.
10.
Kanjiro Naramoto with the kickoff, and Japan win the ball back. Mogami continues with his great efforts, the number 8 for Japan, but this one's popped up right into the arms of their opposition, putting his head down. It's the danger man, Morse, and he feeds it inside to Brian Bradley.
Wales go back-to-back tries on the dying minutes of this game. A competitive kick from the kickoff from Japan, but Morgan Moss stood up and he took the ball at flying pace, turnover, he gets in. Look at the linking up play now, but the confidence to carry the ball and then backing onto the inside was Brent Bradley. Wales, and they roll at the end. And that scoreboard now just balloons up against Japan.
Oh, the ball over here. No, it's a player's responsibility.
Great work from the loose forward in the center. Offensive defense, working the charm.
Should I go down?
Nice, Dan, you're off, Dan.
Dan Edwards, another 2 points on the board, and the scoreline now flattering Wales. Not to say that they haven't deserved this. What a try. Morse has been irrepressible, and just a wonderful try in the end by Brian Bradley. Looks physically abrasive in that number 12. Change in approach coming from Naramoto, constantly innovating in that number 10 jersey. Popped one over the top. Replacement for Wales in the 23, Harry Williams. And there is the halfback Williams. Sends it off to Mackenzie Martin.
19.
The intimidating physical specimen in the 19 jersey. And remember, 8 changes were made to this Welsh side after the victory over New Zealand. So one must suspect that the Welsh have indeed made sure that they rotate all of their players against Japan and are saving their first team surely for that next match, which is coming up for them against the defending champions France, which is going to be taking place at Athlone Stadium on the 4th of July. The feed to the line out comes in from Scarf, and Woodman can't tap it back onto Wells' side, but breaking free, it's Morgan Morse. Morse breaks away and gets it free to Hennessy, and Wales are flying free. All resistance has begun to crumble in the dying moments of this match from the impressive young brave blossoms, the under-20s of Japan. Morse on the rampage again. He's almost unstoppable, the big number 8, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, holding up the ball. The perfect pass to his support in Louis Hennessy. And Wales are having a whale of a time to close out this match. kicker for Wales under 20. There's the number 2, Harry Wild. Harry Wild puts some bend on it, knocks it over and brings about the final whistle in match number 1 of 3 coming from the Darnie Craven Stadium in the World Rugby Under 20 Championships of 2023. The Japanese, they were looking good for it for about 40 minutes of this match. Between the 20th and the 60th minute of the match, the Japanese were dominating, playing a controlled brand of rugby, powering through the Welsh scrum, winning penalty after penalty, and the Welsh seeing the handling errors costing them, not having any consistency in possession. But then a couple of cards changed the course of the match, first towards Wales and then away from them again, first towards Japan rather, and then away from them again, as in the end it was the Japanese number 12, Omachi, with the most serious of the cards, seeing a yellow card elevated to a red, courtesy of the bunker system that is in operation for this competition. And there is the MasterCard player of the match. It is the number 9, Archie Hughes. What a match he had. His proficiency with the boot was on display, no doubt, as the Welsh adopted a kick and chase approach in these trying conditions in Stellenbosch, as the rain was really teeming down earlier on, and it saw some success for the Welsh. However, the Japanese came surging back and looking to win only their 4th ever match at the World Rugby Under 20 Championships in 5 tournaments. They just couldn't get over the line in the end, and that red card really was punishing towards the efforts of this young Japanese side. And in the end, here from the Darnie Craven Stadium in Stellenbosch, it is Wales who are victorious convincingly in the end by 41 points to 19.
First off, that was quite difficult for you. What did you find difficult in that first half?
The weather. That was, I think, the worst weather I've ever played in personally. Could barely keep hold of the ball, and I think they did a good job, especially in defence, hitting us on the ball and dislodging it, and we made a few errors and a few discipline errors, and they capitalised well. But we come out second half, and I think we just kept the foot on them, kept them in their half, and we played well.
Was that the plan, just making sure that the territorial gain was something that you could use to put pressure back?
Yeah, definitely. Coming at half-time, message from the coach was just keep them in their half. You don't want the ball in this weather because you're more likely to drop the ball than obviously the defence is, and that was the plan, keep them in their half, let them make their errors, and I think it worked well.
A gritty bunch of Japan, and they really stood up and they've shown what they're capable of.
Yeah, obviously it was a very, very good game. I don't think the scoreline shows how well they played. But condolences to them. They were a good team. They fought hard, and just looking forward to the next game now.
Congratulations. Good luck for the next.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Captain of Wales, Ryan Woodman, saying this is the worst weather he's ever played in. Just thrown my whole world into question. I always thought that the Stellenbosch weather would be better than that in Wales. But we're going back down touch side to Kobani Bobo, who has an interview with the captain of the
Japanese. A start
Japanese.
that you should be proud of, and especially in that first half, scoring a lot of tries and putting a lot of pressure onto this Welsh team.
先日のフランス戦の敗戦から、準備のとこから、自分たちプライドを持ってやっていこう、この桜のマークのプライドを持っていこう、やっていこうという話をして、それが存分に出た前半かなと思います。すごく誇りに思います。
So, from that loss against the French side, we took pride in our preparation coming into this game, especially into the jersey of representing the Brave Blossom jersey and the emblem, and I think we showed that a lot during this game today.
Unlucky to get that yellow card. How hard was it to work yourselves back into the game as you didn't have that numerical advantage?
数のところで勝負できない状況にイエローカードになったと思うんですけど、そこについてはどうコメントしますか？
人数が少なくなっても自分たちのプランは変えずにどんどんキックでエリアを取っていこうって話はしてて、であとは自分たちのディフェンス、自信を持っているディフェンスにどれだけかけれるか、そういう話をしてました。
So we talked about our numbers were down, but our plan doesn't massively change. We just make sure we kick the kicks to gain territory and back out defense. That's what we talked about.
Congratulations, because it was an outstanding game and some beautiful skills that you've shown, and you should be proud of wearing that jersey.
そのジャージを着れることに対して誇りに思っているべきだと思います。
ありがとうございます。観客に来てくださった皆さんも、本当に、感謝してますし、応援っていうのがすごく自分たちも力になったので、残り3戦ありますが、しっかりジャパンのプライドを見せつけて勝っていきたいと思います。
Thank you very much, and for the fans who came and backed us and supported us, their cheering has given us a lot of power during the game, and remaining 3 games will make sure that we show the Japan pride to the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, many thanks to the number 10 of Japan with those inspirational words, Kanjiro Naramoto, on the back of that loss against Wales. So 41 points to 19, the score in the end, and we've got another match coming your way up next. So there are the standings in Pool A. New Zealand going down to France, the 2-time defending champions from 18 and 19, and New Zealand have a bit of work to do now as Wales ahead of them by 2 points. However, of course, New Zealand will be playing against Japan next, while Wales take on France. Well, 84 point difference for the French. They are looking ominous. And of course, in their next match, they'll be looking to put the hurting on Wales. But we'll see how that pans out on the 4th of July. But for now, from match 1 of 3 coming to you from Stellenbosch today in the World Rugby Under-20 Championship in South Africa, it is Wales who are victorious by 41 points to 19.